Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, we're looking at another small block land transport vehicle, but this one, as you can see, has an exceptionally clean design. In fact, I think it's one of the most cleanest looking vehicles I've ever seen in Space Engineers, and it's called the EcoStar V2, which is just a general purpose transport ship filled to the brim with large, small block cargo containers, and an overall fantastic looking design. We've got two industrial cockpits to drive this thing around, we've got a survival kit, we've got cryopods, we've got weapon containers, and we even have plenty of cameras so we can see exactly what's going on, and a piston system to lift it up off the ground, be able to do maintenance work underneath. So pressing F10 and find this in the spawn menu, the cargo truck is, if I can find it, there it is, 1,255 small blocks, using one hell of a lot of the DLC packs. We can see here specification, block count, and total weight. Then its entire equipment, what it's got, including atmospheric thrusters, which sit in between our cockpits. And all the way down to there, there's our survival kits, of course our batteries and solar panels to power it. So giving this thing a thumbs up, move around towards the very front, we'll have a quick look around the outside, then we'll go and test it out, see how it handles, see what it can do, then maybe just drive recklessly to see what kind of damage we can cause to it. So my character now disappear just for a little bit, and this is what we get at the very front, the EcoStar V2. So right on the left and right hand side we can see our industrial cockpits to drive this thing around, and they both have very similar controls. They are both equipped with remote control blocks, so if you want to, you can control it from either seat or just do it remotely. Between that we then got a bunch of beam blocks, where behind that you might be able to make out our fan atmospheric thrusters to help give it a boost just in case this thing is too heavy to go up a steep hill. Putting the camera all the way through, here we go, so past the beam blocks, there's our first thruster, there's the secondary one, and there's the third one all the way at the very back, with a couple of small ones right above it. Looking down we can see an O2 H2 generator, plus how it's all been connected up by its own small conveyors. We'll come back to that a bit later on. Pulling away from there, moving down slightly, we'll see even more of our atmospheric thrusters help move this thing around, as well as some fantastic use of our neon tubes acting as lights. Moving around onto the side, here we go. We've got some window blocks come all the way up to allow us to get to that weapon container on the side there, weapon locker, as well as move all the way across to access the cockpit on the front. We even have two warning signs where one points all the way up, and another one is risk of getting crushed, because right below here, so our piston's going to extend all the way out and lift the vehicle all the way up. How you get into that scenario, I do not know, but if you do end up like that, well then, I don't know what to say. But anyway, there's one of our barrels, there's some gyroscopes, pulling away from here, looking at it on the side, there's our orange blocks, where behind there's our large cargo containers, and you see just how neatly this has all been set up. And we come back down here, we can see a bunch of blast or edge blocks, just going all the way along our wheels, make sure it's all nice and protected up. They come around towards the very back of this thing. Here we go. We then see two connectors to load and unload stuff. There's the camera to help reverse this thing up. More fantastic use of our neon tubes, just acting as brake lights. But this time we do have some interior lights right behind there to actually be brake lights. Then we do have a landing leg right at the very back there to help clamp this up to say a trailer if you want to do that. We once again got our warning signs where we've got a little arrow that points all the way to the left hand side, as well as the storage arrow sign, just so you know what's going on. Moving all the way up and looking down, we then got some solar panels, some renewable power, in a lovely clean white colouring, and then we got some orange ones as we go towards the front. And moving all the way towards the front there, we see the backs of our atmospheric thrusters, as well as a spare wheel, just in case you need it. And if you don't know why people do this, it's so you can replace a wheel that say has been destroyed, you just simply add one on through the menu, they can grind that up, weld up the new wheel, and away you go. So what we'll do is put the camera all the way down to here, here we go. Says back of our atmospheric thrusters, there's a spare wheel number 1, there's spare wheel number 2, looking around to there, there's a weapon container, and around to there we can see how it's all been connected up, as well as a barrel on the opposite side. Pulling away from here, looking at the very front section where our cab is sitting, there's a top mounted camera, there's two yellow spotlights, there's more beam blocks just bridging this gap at the front. Moving all the way down underneath this thing, here we are, so there's the bottom of our O2 H2 generator, there's where our pistons are sitting, we can then see a bunch of small and large batteries, and that go all the way along towards the back there, where we can see the orange landing leg, clamp ourselves onto whatever. And there we go. That's a brief look around the outside of the EcoStar V2. That looks absolutely fantastic how it's all been designed. But now what I can do is grab hold of my character and get into one of these two cockpits. So moving across over to the left hand side one, bring up the HUD, they're the controls we get over here. Hopping out of this one, moving over to this one, we can see we've got basically the same controls. So into that one, then into that one, it's just been shuffled around. So what we'll do is sit into this one, because this is the main cockpit that can drive it around. I suppose we'll start with number 1. Gonna be for our parachutes to open and close it, just in case you do get into a bit of a pickle, say falling off that cliff in the background. Number 2 is then for your piston system, press that. and lift it all the way off the ground. They'll give you plenty of clearance to actually, oh god, we're tipping over. Oh no, oh that's gone horribly wrong. Yes, that's to give you plenty of clearance to go underneath it, do some repair work if you want to do that. Now hopefully I can just try and tip this all the way back over. I don't think I can. I think it's going to be permanently stuck on the ground. And well, I'm just going to have to hop out of here and cut that. There we are. Go and paste it with it the right way up. Getting back into the cockpit, third person view. Number 3 is then for your remote control block. So we've got some very basic controls with this, with a camera at the very front. Then number 2, number 3 for our connectors at the back there. Hopping out of the remote control block, back to the main controls. We once again got controls for our connectors at the back. Then we've got 6, 7, and 8 for our wheels, but we don't need to touch them. Number 9 for our atmospheric thrusters to sit in between our cockpits to turn it on, give us a nice boost of speed. Over to tab number 2, we've got our top mounted camera that sits between our cockpits at the top there we go. And of course once again our camera at the back there to see what's going on and to help reverse this thing up. On to tab number 3 and 4, we've got nothing else. Decide to undo the parking brake, turn off the atmospheric thrusters, because it's time to drive this thing around. So moving forwards, here we go. We are fairly slow considering we are completely empty, but putting on the thrusters, as you can see, we get a nice boost of speed. With a slam on the brakes, got no risk of this thing randomly flipping over, unless of course you're doing like I did earlier, and best round with the pistons. If we were to do a tight turn, all the way around, and this isn't going to be very good, so I'm going to come down to this flat surface and do it one more time. We are a little bit bouncy when we would go over a slight jump. Could be a bit of a problem if you were very heavy, but it's still very controllable if you do play sensibly. But here we are, a tight turn, and there's no risk of this thing actually flipping over. And I think that all done and out of the way, that's pretty much it for this vehicle has to offer. I just saw it, so it's very clean design, it looked fantastic, thought other people might like it. So here we are. Yes, to finish off this video, what I'm going to do now is drive this thing around at maximum speed if I can, if it can actually get up to maximum speed. I'll see what kind of damage we can do. Once we go over a jump, I may have to do a front flip, but as you can see, I probably don't have to, because we are very, very bouncy with our wheels, and that was a very odd thing. It looks like we have destroyed the bottom part of the front of the vehicle, but we are very, very bouncy. Part of us has just fallen off, but we are still going, but it looks like this is the end. And now we're on the roof of the vehicle. Yes, it's a fantastic looking vehicle if you do drive responsibly. So be linked to the description below to check out and play around with yourself. And I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.